I just want to bring something up to the manager. You know, from what I understand, there's an interim draft plan relative to Olin site from EPA, which part of the remediation basically is to turn on the wells that were shut down because of contamination caused by the Olin site, and to turn them back on now, 17 years later, to send contaminated water to our filtration system in the town of Wilmington. I'm hearing that.
Draft. Interim Action Feasibility Study. Olin Chemical Superfund Site, Wilmington, Massachusetts. Prepared for Olin Corporation. Prepared by Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions. April 2019.
And I'd just like to know, relative to, has Dan Deutsch, our special town council, or better yet, even Geo Insight, have they been informed of this? And what is their opinion? And from what I understand, Jeff, it looks like by May 22nd, which is next week, that's the cutoff time for any written response to the EPA. And I would hope to get an answer, say maybe from you tonight, you know, what's the position? And matter of fact, what's the position of the Board of Selectmen?
Before you answer, Mr. Hull, did I miss something? Was information given to, like, what's the source of that information, Mr. McCoy? Because was it something sent to us that we all should have been privy to? Because this is the first I'm hearing.
Alternative GW2A, groundwater extraction via municipal water supply wells and treatment for potable use with additions to municipal water treatment plant. In this alternative, 2 municipal water supply wells that are currently inactive, Butters Row 1 and 2, would be reactivated. The Butters Row municipal treatment plant would be upgraded with 2 UV oxidation units to treat NDMA and provide a reliable redundant system. The combined water from the Shawsheen well and the Butters Row wells would be treated at the Butters Row municipal water treatment plant to achieve drinking water standards. This treated water would then be available for potable use.
I'm understanding. They want to take that contaminated water and shoot it down to our filtration plant to recycle it, and then...
This is news to me that there's a proposal for Olin to activate contaminated wells and run that water into the public drinking water system, if that's what you're suggesting, or into the town's water treatment plant. I'm just unaware of that. That when information comes to my attention, I try to provide it to the board to avoid surprises, and I, ask that the reciprocal be done. So, it's a surprise to me to hear about this now. I'll certainly look into it, but I have no knowledge of plans for the town's wells that have been deactivated since 2004 or 5, whatever, I guess it was 3 or 4, whatever that date was, to be reactivated and send that water to our water treatment plants.
Again, I would ask, is there any written report that the constituent was basing this information on? Because I can't comment on what our position would be without knowing the source of the information that we're supposedly
I just found this
discussing.
out prior to the meeting, and I understand.
Through the chair to the manager, I would think that Mr. Woods would have been the first on the phone to you if this was going to be, this was going to take place.
There are certainly periodically comment documents that are submitted by Olin as they're going through the various steps of complying with EPA's requirements. And typically what happens is that I'm copied on the communication, as is Mike Woods and Shelley Newhouse, the health director. And if Geo Insight isn't copied on those documents, they're immediately forwarded to them with the instructions to provide us with any comments or guidance that they may have. I don't recall any suggestion that the intent was to turn on the town's 5 deactivated wells and direct water into our water treatment plant. That's just not something I
I'm glad
recall.
to hear that, and, that's why somebody brought it up just a little while ago today. I thought I'd bring it up because I realized come next week, other than the special meeting we have next week, we're not gonna have a selectmen's meeting.
So
That's
how
why I
about-
brought it up.
How about this, we can have Jeff, if you don't mind, follow up with that tomorrow, perhaps Dan Deutsch, your department heads, and see if you can find anything out about that, and
Right.
provide us an update as soon as you can.
Yes.
Through that, amen.
Yeah, can I just make, if there's any documentation behind that information, if that could be shared, if the constituent's watching and feels comfortable sharing it through Mr. McCoy, I'm concerned, I'm a big fan of facts supporting theories and not theories creating facts. So my concern is that now being said, for the 6 people watching still, are gonna now be worried about their drinking water, and the reality is I'd love to see what that information is based on, so that we can actually formulate a response if one is needed. But, just kind of hearing a constituent saying there's a deadline for
Written
some type of
comments.
crazy plan is
Written
a little bit concerning.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up tonight, because I just heard of
Yeah,
it today.
if there's any reports or documents that you have, I'd love to see where that's coming from.
Thank you.
Recommended alternatives. The preferred groundwater alternative is alternative GW2A. However, this alternative will require community acceptance by the public and the town. If this alternative is not accepted, it would not be implementable. In that case, the next preferred alternative would be alternative GW3, where new wells would be installed with a new treatment plant. This alternative would allow the town to continue use of the Butters Row treatment plant to treat water from the Shawsheen well and provide a more efficient means of groundwater capture. Each of these alternatives provide for overall protectiveness of human health and the environment, compliance with errors, short and long-term effectiveness, reduction of dissolved constituent toxicity.
So I think we're hearing that the consensus is that we ought to meet next Tuesday as tentatively scheduled. I think we talked about 7 PM, and I agree, this would give us an opportunity to digest what we heard tonight, to watch the replay if we need to, thanks to our friends at WCTV, who are usually pretty good about getting it right up online. And then also, most importantly, hear some feedback from residents as well. So is everybody okay with next Tuesday, 7 PM, May 21st?
It's fine.
Okay, so we will publish that so that folks will be aware of the public meeting on the 21st.